Hello YouTube, it is Toy Adventures here again with another figure review. And today we're taking a look at actually two brand new Hammond collection releases. We're taking a look at the infamous pair, the always loved duo, Owen Grady, and of course, you can probably guess who else, his trusty sidekick, the dinosaur he trained from the beginning, the Dimetrodon. Yeah, kind of an interesting pair considering that, Owen and Blue were revealed together, but not released together. This time Dimetrodon was revealed way back when, and Owen was revealed pretty much the moment Blue was revealed, yet they didn't come out together. It's kind of perplexing, the decision to release Owen and the Dimetrodon and not save the Dimetrodon for later and just release Owen and Blue. Frustrates me personally because I'm trying to make a new Blue series and I wanted to use the new Hammond Collection Blue, but can't use what isn't sold yet, so kind of an interesting duo to have released together, but I guess it's better than nothing. So yeah, we have Owen Grady, the next human in the main Hammond Collection line, and the Dimetrodon. Kind of an interesting choice, at least in my opinion. The Dimetrodon figure, or at least design as a dinosaur, really doesn't need too much articulation, just because it's just a squat little waddle guy. But, articulated dinosaurs are cool regardless, but for some of these dinosaurs, I think just a basic figure looks better. And for some of them, like the Stegosaurus, I think the basic figure that's not articulated actually does just look better. It's sculpted better. Sometimes it even has better paint. It's wild. It's just, I don't know. I don't feel like some of these more squat, tiny dinosaurs like babies and Dimetrodons and more of those sailed lizards don't really need a super articulated variant, or at least they don't do the articulation enough to make it warranted. I'll get into that more once we get this thing opened, but let's take a look at the box. Pretty standard, except now they're having the renders of the character on the front instead of it just being the logo for the movie. So here you actually have a render of the toy, not just of Chris Pratt, but of Owen Grady, the toy. And then you have a render here of the Dimetrodon toy, looking pretty neat. Kind of weird and uncanny to have like a digital render as your front box art, but it's not so bad. Take a look here at the side. You do get kind of basic artwork for the Dimetrodon, while a little bit more of a portrait shot of Owen Grady there. Taking a look here at the back, it shows off all the little gimmicks. So of course with Owen you get a more stern, yelling looking face. With the extra hands, you actually get his knife, and it goes into the sheath. With the Dimetrodon, it points out that it has a glass eye, and it's just articulated, I guess. You can see down here you get Owen Grady Blue, which still isn't out, and the Carnotaurus. So we really need Blue to release very soon, please, Mattel. And one more thing is you can see that the respective movies that these come from are shown in the top corner. I always love those little distinction details. And yeah, so let's go ahead and get these things open and see what we get. So here we have everything out of the two boxes. Of course, we have the Dimetrodon, which is the only thing that came in his packaging. But with Owen here, I figured it'd be kind of neat to use the packaging just to show off all the accessories with the more clear view now. Obviously, you get these two hands that are meant to replicate Owen telling Blue to stop. They're a little tough to get out. As you can see, you just pull them out. And relatively easy to get pushed in. It's a little hard to do when you're recording, but there you go. As you can see, it looks perfect, especially from this angle. It's literally the perfect hand gesture, that kind of stop. Very memeable as well. I can imagine this is going to be a popular figure with just this look. Stop. Very nice, very nice. And of course, you can do the infamous, I guess not infamous, but just famous pose from Jurassic World, where all the raptors are coming at him at once. He's trying to save that new guy from getting mauled. So he's doing the whole, everybody just chill out. So very, very cool. People have been whining about Mattel releasing a ton of Owens, and I'm in that camp too. But this Owen is a very welcomed addition. Not only welcomed, but actively wanted by me. I always loved Jurassic World's look for Owen Grady the best. I think it's the coolest look he's had up to date. And there was really only one release of Mattel's standard figures that had that look. And it came out at the beginning of the Fallen Kingdom line and then never again. They never re-released it. And that's like the coolest look for Owen. And it still wasn't fully faithful to Jurassic World. Well, here is a figure that is completely faithful to the first Jurassic World. It looks great, and it gets to be the Hammond collection. So I am actually super happy to have this Owen. Very much so. He was, of course, my favorite character in the new Jurassic World series. I'm sure he's a lot of people's favorite characters. Not too many to choose from, to be quite frank. It's him or Bryce Dallas Howard, and I do gravitate to the cool Navy, ex-Navy guy. Very, very nice. And this figure does a really nice job of representing him. So that's its Hammond collection. We get the nice added bonus of having a separate little vest instead of it just being sculpted on. No annoying scratches in the back. He does have his little knife holster, which is conveniently already glued on. That was a big issue with a lot of the other Owens, is that, whoa. Well, now I gotta go find that knife. Okay, luckily that wasn't too hard, but that thing went flying. Actually, let's take an opportunity to take a good look at the knife. Pretty cool. Not too detailed, but it is the correct shape and look of the knife he had in the movie. And I think I put that in the wrong way. It's just tough to get in either way. It's kind of a tough fit in there, but it goes in nicely. And so other than the two hand accessories, you also get this optional head. Focus. Where it's kind of look like he's giving out commands, he's barking out something. You can see the mouth is noticeably opened. Just pop off the head, comes off a little rough. And pop on the new one. And you have a more battle, serious, yelling Owen. So, kind of an interesting choice for an accessory. Is just a more serious face. Kind of shows that there is a missing accessory here to Owen's kit that was really iconic in the movie that they're not including for some reason. His rifle! His lever action 4570 government rifle. Where is his lever action? It was so cool. It was part of his character. You saw it slung across his shoulder. It completed the look. Now, luckily, you're not completely out of hope. Now, obviously, you could go find a 3D printed lever action somewhere on the internet, but let's say you strictly only buy Jurassic World sets. Well, there actually was a Jurassic World set that came with Owen's rifle. And it was, I believe, it was the motorcycle set that came with the Baryonyx. And it had Owen's lever action. Haha, voila. Now, it's not perfect to the on-screen representation of his lever action, but it's good enough. It's good enough and probably, well, it's not the right color. I'm sure they would have got it in the right color, but it's about as good as Mattel would have done anyway if they had thought to include his rifle. Still needs a sling so you can sling it over his shoulder, but it's a good start. I would honestly suggest what I'm probably going to do after this review is take this little X-Acto knife here and cut right in between his pointer finger and the rest of his hand. Right there, just cut into it so I can get the finger around the trigger and have a more convincing, him holding the actual lever action rifle. How well can he actually shoulder it? Not super good. Not really that good at all, from what I can see. He's having a real tough time getting the gun in his hand. But with some finagling, I'm sure you can get it to look pretty convincing. But it is just tough that they're not against including guns, clearly, because, I want to call him Roland Tembo. Robert Muldoon, of course, came with his Spas 12, so it is a little perplexing that Owen doesn't come with his lever action. And very, very missing here in terms of his entire Jurassic World kit. But I'll let it slide. I'm used to companies cheaping out on the guns for certain characters. I don't know why they do it. It was very iconic and clearly a part of his look, but I'll just turn the blind eye this once. You also get what is supposed to come with Blue. This should have been his rifle right here. This should have came with Blue. It's Blue's little head mount with the camera on it that the Mercs give her so they can, you know, watch her live feed as she's taking on the Indominus, I guess. So if you don't have Blue with you, and obviously none of us do because she's not out yet, this is a completely useless piece. This should have been his rifle. And I'm going to be mad about it because that's a useless accessory because we don't have the dinosaur that it comes with. Now, if these two were released together, I could maybe see it, but I just think you shouldn't give this guy an accessory that is not meant for him. It's meant for another dinosaur. Give it to the dinosaur. Just put it in the dinosaur's box. Ugh, I just wanted his rifle. His knife and his rifle. That's his kit. Big sad. But the figure itself, what we do have here is really nice. Now, articulation-wise, it is standard for the Hammond collection. You have a hinge that goes about out to here in the arm. Of course, 360-degree rotation. Another hinge at the elbow. That's pretty standard for Mattel. Where the Mattel with the Hammond collection kicks in is at the wrist, where you actually do get movement. You get rotation and hinge. You get rotation at the waist, which is actually a ball joint, so you get a bit of up and down ab crunch as well. Of course, heads on a ball peg. Thighs can kick out to the side pretty damn far, so you can get up doing the splits. Thigh swivel, double jointed knees, very nice, and these articulate very nicely. They're not loose at all, and they're not too stiff. And of course, hinge and rotation here at the feet. You get a nice hinge there. So your Owen is very fairly articulated. I'm really a big fan of these Hammond collection humans. I just think they need to work on the accessories. That has been their biggest downfall. We've had Ellie Sattler come with literal poop hands and a leaf. We had John Hammond, instead of come with a baby dinosaur, he comes with a bucket of ice cream. And instead of coming with his lever action rifle, Owen comes with Blue's head mount. It's like they just have a wheel of random things that the characters held once in the movie, and they just spin the wheel and decide, oh, well, Ellie held a leaf for 0.3 seconds, so that should be her accessory, not the belt of tool, like the utility belt that she wore when she's going into the power room, not the camera, not the light that was dragging across on her ankle, none of those cool accessories. No, we shouldn't give Owen his cool lever action. Let's give him Blue's head mount and then not release him alongside Blue, so you just have to wait until that useless piece of rubber can be used at all. And how many people actually want the head mount on her? Take a note from the Amber collection. All of Blue's sisters came with their head mounts. Didn't come with Owen, came with Blue. Now to be fair, not even that series gave Owen his lever action. They're just allergic to giving him his gun. And I kind of see why. It's the whole politics going on over there, but it really does subtract from the overall full feelingness of the package. It feels like there's a lot missing here, and that's kind of the thing with a lot of other Hammond collection humans. Not all of them. Some of them come with everything you would need, like Alan. Although I could have, no, never mind. I think Alan did come with an unhatted head. I can't remember. That's the only thing I can think of that Alan would have needed is a head without the hat. I can't remember if he came with that, but he came with the raptor claw and whatnot. So, you know, Alan felt fine. Ian didn't do too much. All I could see is him coming with the flare, but all the other figures came with flares, so it doesn't matter. In fact, I think he did come with the flare. And he came with a removable jacket. He's perfectly fine. Of course, you know, Robert Muldoon came with a shotgun, perfectly fine. That's what we wanted with him. But Owen, no rifle. He came with the hands to do the pose. That absolutely is needed. And I'll take the extra head too, but replace the rubber head mount with his rifle, and this would have been a perfect knockout release. Anyway, I've been harping on way too long about that. You guys get the point. Rifle not here, me angry. On to the Dimetrodon, and I have a bit more to say about this guy because he's kind of strange. I'm gonna just get it straight onto his glass eye. Do you guys see it in there? Do you guys see it? Because I don't. I just see a black, tiny hole. Let's actually get the light shining directly in there. Ah, you can barely see it. Yeah. This has me kind of scared for Blue. Granted, Blue's going to have a bigger eye than this. But this is terrible. This is so bad. Is this the glass eye? You can't see it. You can't see anything. The plastic eyelids are too thick and fat. You can't see nothing. I can't decipher what that is, and I'm looking right up to it. Is mine a defect? Or is this just how they look? If this is just how the eyes look, this is terrible. And proof that not every figure needs a glass eye. Okay? Painted eyes are okay. Glass eyes are supposed to be fancy, neat gimmicks for the bigger dinosaurs. It worked on the Carnotaurus. It worked on the T-Rex. And it, to an extent, it worked on the Brachie, but the Brachie's eye is a little small for that. Does not work here at all. It looks terrible. The teeth look way too fat and gummy. I thought, where's the advancements that we had with the Carnotaurus, where the teeth were a separate part? I get this is smaller, but it just looks so silly. Not pleased with the head at all. Teeth look bad. Eye is atrociously done. I can't even see it. Guys, I get it. The glass eye gimmick is cool and you guys like to flex, but certain figures just do not benefit from it. While certain figures absolutely benefit from it, like the Rex and the Carno. Not this at all. But let's take a look at the overall paint. It is pretty nice. The body's a little simple with this brown fading up into a darker purplish brown up on top with, nice cream beige here on the belly. Pretty standard color scheme. I really like the sail though. The sails fade from red to orange is really, really naturally done. I love that. And the stripes on it look really nice. I'm definitely going to be getting a second one of these just to repaint like the Kenner Dimetrodon. That's the first thing I thought, because this is a nice paint scheme, but I just kind of, except for the sail, I just kind of find it a little boring. I don't know, I just don't like the one-tone color scheme. I'm sure it's actually more realistic than the Kenner look, but I don't know. With Jurassic Park dinosaurs specifically, I like them to look Jurassic Park-ish, if that makes any sense. Like, there's a difference between how a Jurassic Park dinosaur looks, how a regular dinosaur looks, and then how a Jurassic World dinosaur looks. Jurassic World, where like pick two colors for like Rexy and then just simplify the paint scheme. They'll give you straight green Stegosauruses, straight gray Triceratopses, straight blue with maybe some stripes at Apatosaurus. Like, it's really basic designs. Whereas Jurassic Park, look at the bold T-Rex. There's green feeding up into yellow with black stripes coming down. And there's all this speckling and fading going on. Look at Rexy. Yeah, she's brown, but she's also got the dark brown and speckling into her face. You got all the different speckling done. You have the very gentle striping done. Look at the Dilophosaurus. It's like, they're so intricate and beautiful and like artist crafted looks, as opposed to just brown fading into a darker brown. I don't know. I'm not super sold on this paint scheme, but the sculpt here is nice. Cut this off. The sculpt here is nice. The articulation is a little hit or miss. The mouth here opens really wide, so that's pretty nice. Head can hardly really move. No left or right, which is a big bummer. Up and down is pretty minimal. I think the actual basic Dimetrodon gets more movement than that. You of course got the hinge out here in the front legs, and they can bend in a pretty fair amount. I actually saw someone on Facebook took this figure and swapped the back legs to be the front legs and the front legs to be the back legs. I don't think I'm gonna go that far, but it did seem to look pretty all right. Now, really the only pose you're gonna get this guy in is this nice little squat standing pose. Yeah, you can get him into some walking poses, but don't expect anything too dynamic, because Mattel is seemingly allergic to giving these figures a mid body joint, like something to bend the figure left to right. seeing as the head can't even do that, at least give the main abs right here ability to crunch. It's just absent on so many of these dinosaurs. They had it on the T-Rex and it was fine. It was great. I understand it got a little loose because the T-Rex was big and it was their first attempt at a big articulated dinosaur. But it really is missing on dinosaurs like the Carnotaurus and this one. You really need to introduce that mid-level ab joint right there, or that mid-body joint, to give just a bit more articulation. It's a really critical joint that they're missing. For the back legs, you actually get 2 spots of hinges. You get one here on the knee and one at the ankle. And do they bend very well? Yeah. But they ironically bend the wrong way a little better. But you can get some basic walking poses and maybe one like roar. But this is another one of those not very impressive Hammond collections. And one of the rare instances, I would actually prefer just the regular release. Will I still use this in movies? Of course, it's still neat to have. I just think it's not as well done as it should have been. And it wasn't a desperate need. This isn't really going to sell too well, I assume. Or maybe it'll become rare, because that seems to be something that these Jurassic World Dimetrodons have been doing. Is just becoming crazy expensive for no reason. But I hope not, because this one really isn't speaking to me all that much. The face is done bad, and the articulation is kind of just moot. Like, there's not a lot of crazy poses that you could do. I mean, and that's just intrinsic to the Dimetrodon itself. The Dimetrodon really doesn't do anything but waddle and skedaddle around the world. It just, it sees prey, it does this, but a little faster, and then it catches them. But you can't do that catch, that, snag, and then, because it doesn't turn. The one articulation piece that you could have actually made the Dimetrodon look dynamic, you didn't give it to it. So it is kind of boring, even if it is articulated. Now, time for the final rating, because I really have spoken on and on and on about these two and said pretty much all I have to say about them. The Owen gets an 8 out of 10 for me. That rifle does take it down a bit, and I do not like having the head mount in there and taking up an accessory slot. I don't want it to not be there and it costs less money. I want an extra accessory. I just wanted it to be his rifle. With the sling that could go around his shoulder, you have all the rounds painted on it, would have been awesome. And it would have made this just such a cool and perfect full package like some of the other figures are. Dimetrodon gets a 6 out of 10. It is bad for a Hammond collection. I know we were all anticipating it, but that doesn't make it good. You can wait a long time for something that's pretty mid. And in my opinion, the Dimetrodon is pretty mid. The glass eye attempt came off terribly. Either mine's defective or this is just a horribly designed gimmick. Just give us a regular eye and paint it. The teeth, while they are pretty standard for what we could expect from Mattel, not anymore, because the Carnotaurus has set that new standard. I don't know if this was designed before the Carnotaurus. If so, okay, I'll give it some grace. But if this was designed after the Carnotaurus, and since these were kind of revealed at Toy Fair, kind of right next to each other, I don't necessarily think this was made too far before or after the Carnotaurus. I feel like they're in development around the same time. It's really not excusable. Even if they weren't separate pieces, they just look bad. Like, it's not like you can't have them be all one piece and it not look okay. They just look straight up bad. He looks like he's wearing dentures. It's just not good. So, yeah, we got an 8 out of 10. He's an overall great figure, but he's missing some key parts to his overall full package. And mid Dimetrodon. Mid, but also good. But for Hammond collection, definitely mid. Especially with the new bar they set. Anyway, guys, that has been it for my review. I hope you guys enjoyed. Definitely go out and pick yourselves up a Owen Grady, and if you have the extra money left over and you really don't care, get the Dimetrodon as well, but definitely get this Owen Grady. I know you've bought a million, but it's time to actually buy a good one. Alright guys, that's been it. Thank you all so much for watching. This has been Toy Adventures, signing out. Peace!